camera, action. Let's start the show. Here's a little bit of wedding planning advice from me to help your love story unfold. Welcome back, lovebirds. This is your wedding series, and I am your content creator. As you guys know, I've gone to lots of weddings, and some of them have gone really, really great, and some of them I think could be done a little bit better. We also get to talk about marriage over here, so any of you that are really, really interested on how to start planning your wedding the right way, especially from a young age before you even get engaged. This is in your teenage years, like 14 years old, when you start learning responsibility. Go back and look at season 1, because this is going to help you to start planning and prepping on how to become an adult, how to be a good wife, good husband, good father figure, a good mother, and just an all-around, just amazing human being, okay? So go back and look at season 1, because it teaches you those things, as well as how to date for marriage. A lot of people don't realize that there is a right and a wrong way to date for marriage. I know. Nobody wants to think about that, but you have to, because that's why so much of the foundations that people have are so rocky. And that's why when storms come, they don't really know what to do. And so they end up in divorce. And that's not what you want. That's not the goal, is to get married and then get divorced. So I am trying to help the next generations out. I want you to understand that there is a way to do this. And it's not that our parents, didn't instill some, good, healthy relationship advice to us. But I do think that they've been so busy working and trying to provide for us that they didn't have a lot of time to really talk about like the realness of life, marriage, getting married, weddings, as well as adulthood and what it's like to have the responsibility of a wife and a mother and a helpmate, as well as a husband, a father, and a helpmate. These things are not to be taken lightly, and not everybody realizes that there are some things that you can do to help you to be a little bit better at them. Okay. So not saying that we're all getting it super wrong, but the majority of people are getting it really, really wrong. So if you want some help on that, please go back and look at season 1. And season 2, we fast forward into the age in which you got engaged. It's going to be different for everybody. So we started planning this wedding in season 2, and now we fast forwarded to, now we're in season 4, so we're not fast forwarding. We've gone step by step. And so I've been your helpful wedding planner here on YouTube. And I know a lot of people go out and they will purchase a wedding planner, someone that's charging them thousands of dollars, who is going to help them to plan their wedding, step by step as well. And they may give you a list of things to go out and do, and they may do some things themselves, but we talked a lot about their duties in a different episode. So make sure you go back and look at my episode on wedding planners versus the DIY bride, the day of coordinator versus the DIY bride. These videos are going to help you a lot in deciding, do I even want a wedding planner at all? We are not going to be missing anything over here. And if I do, I want you to tell me, okay? Let me know. Hey, content creator, you missed out on this. We need to add this into the wedding planning. Guess what? I will add it in here. But right now we are in season 4, episode 7. And this is talking about considering a room block at a nearby hotel. So your guests may not be thinking about what it's going to cost them for the hotel. They might have already been thinking about it if it's a destination wedding, if it's somewhere where they're going to have to fly in, or if they have to drive in. They might be thinking about it, but not early enough. So this is the point in the planning where the bride and groom can start making some phone calls. You may even want to go visit like management in person, maybe get a meeting or do like a video call with them just to see if you could do something face to face, because sometimes face to face is better than on the phone. If you have a hotel that is near the wedding venue, this is going to be the best. Something that's walkable would be even better, but something that's really, really close. If they have to drive or take like a rental car or an Uber Lyft service, a car service of some sorts, then that would be fine too. But try to find a nearby hotel, a nearby resort, and then I'm going to give you guys some other ideas of places that you can look into. So when you talk to the hotel, to the resort, you're going to see if they can do a room block. A room block is where they block off a certain amount of rooms on certain floors to be able to hold those for your wedding guest. They're not going to give those rooms away on your wedding day, okay? They're going to hold those so that your guests will not be scrambling around at the last minute trying to find a hotel. That would be awful. And we don't want that stress on them. So that's why when you're about 4 months out from your wedding, if you're doing a 1-year-long planning, you want to look into this. This is about 1/3 into your planning process, and you want to look at this. Now, if you are doing a 5 to 6 months planning process for your wedding, like you're only giving yourself 6 months, then you may want to do this at the 2-month mark. Okay, so that would be like the 1/3 way. You may want to do this at the 2-month mark rather than waiting into the 4-month. Okay, and so you just want to call them, talk to them, maybe even schedule a meeting and see if they can block off some rooms. This is something that hotels do all the time, so they should not have a problem with you asking for this. But we want to go one step further. Since they are going to have a lot of guests from your wedding, it doesn't hurt to ask, hey, can we also get a discount? Would it be okay to have a percentage off of each room so that our guests will have a little bit of, reprieve, a little bit of a stress reliever when it comes to the cost of this wedding? You don't even have to tell them it's for a wedding. You can just say that it's for an event. You could say it's for a party. You could just say it's for a reunion. You don't have to tell everyone that it's for a wedding, because what did we talk about? Anytime you say wedding, what do? They hike up the price even more, which is really sad. But they might be willing to work with you if you call early. The other places that you might consider talking to is going to be Airbnb. If you're able to get a house, especially when it comes to close family members, like say if there's a family of 4 that are staying together, and getting a hotel room would be quite expensive for each and every one of them to stay in those rooms. Getting a house would be less expensive to rent, hopefully, okay? And this way they all get to have more bathrooms and things like that. Well, I don't know if they're going to have more bathrooms, but they'll have at least more space in the bathroom. That's for sure. Most of the time, right? So they'll also have a kitchen to where they can cook and have some good food. I mean, obviously they're going to have good food at the wedding, but also they may want to have some breakfast or some lunch or the dinner, depending on what time of day that your wedding is going to be. So consider looking into an Airbnb house, maybe a few houses that are somewhere near the wedding venue itself. Now, if they're driving in and they don't mind to drive because they get a more cost-effective Airbnb, then let them make that choice, right? But just at least start researching for them. I know it feels like we have to do all the work as the bride and groom, especially as the bride, but it is our wedding and we do want our guests to be comfortable, because then if they didn't have a hotel or anywhere to stay, they may not come at all. They just may not even show up, okay? So that's the one extra thing to look into or consider when it comes to getting a room block, is thinking about a whole Airbnb house, okay? The next thing you can consider is bed and breakfast room blocks. I don't know if a lot of people consider bed and breakfasts very often, but this is a great thing to look into. because their prices are a little bit less than hotels most of the time, than resorts, because they are just not paying for all of, the hoopla and the glamour and all this stuff. But most of them still have just as much nice things, amenities, as the hotel and resorts. They've got little gardens to sit in. They've got gazebos to have breakfast in. They've got swimming pools sometimes hot tubs, jacuzzis, and things like that. So you just might want to look into a room block at a bed and breakfast. At that point, you may just have to rent out each room or hold each room at the bed and breakfast, because they're not very big places. And when it says bed and breakfast, guess what you're also going to get in your room cost? You're going to get breakfast. So now they're going to have breakfast. I don't know what kind of breakfast it's going to be. You'll have to ask. Hopefully it's more than just that silly continental breakfast where you just get a hard piece of toast and some fruit and some yogurt that'll make your stomach hurt. So hopefully you're getting more than that, right? So those are some things to consider. Now, if you have family that live in the same city, town, state, whatever, that you're getting married in, especially if they live in the same city and they live close to the venue, reach out to them. Reach out to them and say, hey, can this part of the family stay with you guys while they're here? There's something to that when people are able to open up their home and allow you to stay. This happens a lot when people have different types of family reunions and stuff. They will open up their home to different family members and say, hey, you guys don't need to worry about staying in a hotel. You're going to be staying with us. So consider that, look into that. It's not just a room block at a nearby hotel that you could consider. You can consider all these other things too. Going back over them, it's going to be a hotel resort, Airbnb, bed and breakfast, as well as someone's personal home. So those are things to consider so that you can help your guests to have somewhere to stay comfortably, clean, nice and fresh, and they don't need to worry about where they're going to be. And now you don't have to worry about where they're going to be and if they're still going to make it to this wedding or not. Okay. You got it all figured out, already 8 months before your wedding, or 4 months before your wedding. Okay. So those are some things to consider. We are at the segment called Be My Guest, and this is a chance for me to see who wants to be on your wedding series podcast. You will get a chance to hang out with me, your content creator, and we are just going to talk about this. How was it for you to set apart a block of rooms in a hotel? Did you get a huge discount, or did they just kind of laugh you off like, no, we don't do that? I want to hear your stories. I want to hear if family members were very excited to open up their home and say, yes, these family members can stay with me. It's totally fine. They've already reached out, so it's not a big deal. If you also went through the bed and breakfast route, any couples that, called them and got a nice discount from them, or usually they are so professional. So I would love to hear your story on how you were treated and things like that when it comes to the bed and breakfast. If anybody went the Airbnb route, I'd like to hear from you as well. I know that a lot of people are doing this more often than any of the other ones that I suggested. Even hotels now, people are using them less and less. And so I want to hear from you if you used an Airbnb as well. Guys, this is for anyone that's a bride and groom. This is for the wedding party, maybe some bridal party members, bridesmaids and groomsmen. Maybe you you were part of the room block and you helped to find it, or maybe you stayed at one because the bride and groom blocked those off for you ahead of time and you were so excited. I want to hear from you as well. Now listen, if you're a vendor and you have a hotel resort, or you have set apart some rooms before and you feel like it's a great opportunity to fill your hotel up and you want to be on the show, you're welcome to reach out to me too. This is for everybody. I would love to hear from everyone. So if you're a vendor, you have an Airbnb house, you have a bed and breakfast, You also hosted people at your house, like personal home. How did it go? Was everyone tidy and clean and respectful, or were they just super messy and ate all your food? I want to hear from you guys. Reach out to me so that we can put you on your Wedding Series podcast. But listen, it's going to be on video call. It's going to be on video call. So we are going to record the session with the cameras on. Okay, so we're going to see you on camera, and we're going to get a chance to share your story with the world right here on YouTube. So exciting. You're going to get to help other people to plan their wedding and get to hear stories on what it was like to, consider a room block for their guest, okay? For their guests to be able to have somewhere to stay during the wedding season, during the wedding time. Well, not the season, but the whole, the wedding day or the wedding week. Some people come out for a whole week in order to help with all the things and decorating and just everything, right? So make sure that you guys first reach out to me so we can get the conversation started by email. I'll send you over some questions, some interview questions, see what you think. And you do that by sending me an email at yourcontentcreator@yahoo.com. And guess what, lovebirds? I know. You guys already know I'm about to say it. I don't want to go either. But guess what? That's the end of the episode. I will see you, lovebirds, in the next one. Bye, lovebirds.
Lights, camera, action, baby, strike a pose. Phones and cameras out, just watch it all unfold. We're the stars of the show, ain't no need for filters. Living life through the lens, capturing our breath. Put away your phones and cameras, let the good times roll. Our content creators got it all under control. From weddings to events, parties, travel and brands, we're living the paparazzi life. It's all in our hands. Lights, camera, action, we're ready to go. We're professionals, don't you already know? From TikTok to Instagram, we're taking the lead.